So welcome to part 2 of being an idiot and installing a Suzuki Hayabusa engine in a Nissan Micra. There's a lot of work, and in episode 1 we actually got quite a bit of stuff done. We got the engine mounted, we got the drivetrain sorted, and we also did some weight saving on the vehicle as well. And in this episode we're going to aim to have it running by the end of it, or at least nearly running, or maybe even finished. I don't know. Let's just watch it and see what happens, eh? We've got a few biggies to get done in this episode. One of them is going to be the exhaust system, which I'm going to do first. We're building this in titanium. So for those of you that are not familiar with titanium, it is very light, but it's also very expensive. And to put into context how expensive, that little pile of parts there is about 650 quid worth of titanium. So yeah, it's very expensive. So we're going to be doing a titanium exhaust on it today. We are also going to be modifying the fuel tank, putting the Hayabusa fuel pump in the bottom of the tank, and we're going to be plumbing up the fuel system, and then we are going to be doing the wiring. Now, I've already done the car side of the wiring. What I mean by that is I've removed everything to do with the old engine. The only thing that works on the car loom now is the ancillaries, the lights, the wipers, the horn. Basically all I need. This is going to run standalone. The engine and the car are going to be standalone to each other. Yeah, but I have done a few things off of camera since episode 1. So let's have a little run through them before we get going too deep. The reason I haven't showed them on camera, because I didn't want to long this project out over like 9 videos like I did with Escort. So I'm going to try and keep this one fast paced. So let me show you what we've been doing, what we've been up to. And bear with me because I can't remember what I actually showed you on episode 1. So here I needed a way to re-brace the slam panel back from there to there. Now it's not really that much strength needed because these bars kind of tie in the chassis legs, and they do a good job. When you bolt them together they actually pull the chassis legs. So I just needed something to beautify what was missing. There used to be a piece what bolted in there, had the original bonnet catch on it. So I decided that I was just going to cut something, and that's what I came up with. Don't know whether you like it or you don't like it. I just tried to bling it a little bit. It will be painted white, and it just does one job really. It just braces the slam panel back together, just to add a little bit of strength into these, because this is where the bonnet pin is going to be. So yeah, it's quite solid now, whereas before we put that on, it were quite floppy because there was nothing to hold it, so now it's quite solid. So I'm happy with that. That's one thing I've done off of camera since. Clutch, we did that in episode 1. The fans, can't remember if I showed you that or not in episode 1, but I simply cut a back plate, welded it to the bottom of the rad, put 2 6-inch fans on there. They are now wired up to a switch what's on the dashboard. I'm just going to have them manual just so I can toggle them on and off as and when I please. I'm not going to use the engine temp sensors in the ECU. I'm just going to toggle it on and off as I want to. Throttle cable was done. I've showed you all throttle cable and that, choke cable. Yeah. What else? Oh, heaters. People have laughed about this, my friends who have looked at it, but yeah, I do really want heaters to work on this car still. So that is a Mercedes auxiliary coolant pump, which I have sort of modified these aluminium pipes. Well, I've made them, I haven't modified them. I've made these and I've linked them to the original heater matrix, and how well it's going to work or not I don't know, but the plan is the assist pump is going to sort of pump coolant through the matrix, and as long as warm coolant's going through it, the heater should work. So that's a laugh. But I want them to work because I'm Nesh. I don't like being cold. We got the windows done in episode 1. Here's one thing that I haven't shown you. This is the intake throttle bodies. So that is a laser cut back plate. I then laser cut another flange on the back side and welded some leg lengths on them with a bead rolled edge, 60-degree silicons, and I 3D printed these trumpets. Now there is a filter to go on there, which is in there. Look, the pipe cross filter does fit on there. Yeah, so they'll be going on the throttle bodies. Now, before people jump in the comments and tell me you're going to lose power by not running the original airbox, I know that. I just cannot run the original airbox. The engine's quite a tall engine. I just cannot physically get the airbox in there and the bonnet shut. So I know I'm just going to have to lose a bit of power without the airbox. So I do know about that. Anyway, fuel tank. Let's have a look what I did with fuel tank. So I didn't make the fuel tank. This is a cheap eBay fuel tank, 40 quid. I couldn't even make it for 40 quid. You'll see there that I've snipped some wires off because it has a sender inside the tank, which I have cut out because I do not want to use that sender. Laser cut this plate, engraved it with my logo, and the plan is I'm using the original Hayabusa fuel pump. I've ordered a flange. I should have just made my own, and it took me like 15 minutes. But I thought, oh, for speed, I'll just order one, and it's not worked out for speed at all because it's not come for ages. Essentially, I'm going to put a Boss in the bottom of the tank. I'm going to run the original fuel pump because it's got the original plug on it. I'll just need to extend the wires, and it's also got the original level sender on there, which will work because I am using the Hayabusa clocks. So that's why I'm using the original fuel pump. Not going to run a swirl pot for the minute. That might become an issue if I do want to track this car. So I don't know. We'll just see. We'll see how we get on. So let's get started. Let's see what we're going to be doing today. But before we go any further, let's just give today's video sponsor a little bit of love. Today's video sponsor is Ausom. I think that's how you pronounce it. It looks like it. That's how it reads to me. Ausom. And Ausom it is. Now this model is the L2 Max, which comes with a very nice stylish LCD display. Comes with blue kickboard lights, which look really nice. This is a dual motor and dual suspension. This thing even has headlight, tail light and indicators. Pretty cool. Even has USB sockets to charge your phone. And it doesn't matter if you live in Alaska, this bad boy is two-wheel drive. And not only is it two-wheel drive and got dual suspension, this thing does 40 miles an hour, and it does. So all in all, what an awesome bit of kit. See what I did there? Two problems with it, it's quite a long charge time. Now, it does have two charge ports, so you can buy an extra charger and you can speed up the charge time. The only other problem I've got with it, we need two more. Boys have got face on, they want one. If you want one of these, all the promo codes will be on the screen. Check them out. Okay, so I've already removed all the shifter from the car. Luckily on a Micra, they don't run a cable shift. Everything is like bar shift. So I've removed all the bits and bobs here. I've got the gear knob there in my hand, look, the little carbon fibre end on it. These are all the various bars and stabiliser bars, what made up the original shifter. I'm just essentially going to cut these to death. I'm going to make a pivot point, and then I'm going to build my own tower and cut it out on my X-Tool CNC laser cutter, which is up there somewhere. Yeah, let's get cracking. So that's the original shifter lever from the car. Now in a conventional car, you'll go forward first, second, into middle, third, fourth, fifth, sixth if you've got it. This one didn't. Obviously on a motorcycle, we're not going to be working like that. It's going to be first is going to be forward, then it's going to be second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way back. So we need to make a way to stop the original shifter from wobbling side to side like this. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to chop this to bits, and I'm going to put a pivot point on. I want to keep this because that mounts to the original shifter bar, which I'm going to sort of chop up and MacGyver into a working solution. But this here will save me making some bits on the lathe, whatever, because it already is. This is like a stabilizer bar. The stabilizer bar on this car is to keep the shifter in the, so essentially so you're not too far forward or too far back. That's going to be irrelevant once I've done what I'm doing. So yeah, we're going to utilize this bush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill an hole in it, and I'm going to slide that through it and weld it on. That's going to give me a pivot point that I can then pivot on that, which will move the bottom bit in and out. In other words, to first, second, third, etc. So first job, cut that off, drill it, get that mounted on there, and then we're going to be on to a bit of CAD work. If you're not sure what CAD stands for, it stands for Cardboard Aided Design. We're going to mock it up in cardboard, and then I will draw it on actual CAD Computer Aided Design, and I will cut it on the laser cutter. So yeah, let's just see what happens. Let's get this done first, I think. So we're going to save that bit of rod because we might need that later on. So I'm just going to MacGyver this to make it work. Now I need to drill an hole through that allows that to go through there, and it will just be simply welded on. I'll probably just fill ender it with weld, beautify it up with flap disc or something along them lines. Yeah. There we go. So what that's going to do is that's going to mount to my shifter tower. It's going to still spin. That will, once it's mounted into a tower, it can no longer move left and right like that because it'll be bolted in solid. This will be welded, but it gives us that. That's what we want. So I'm not going to weld that in just yet because I don't know exactly the height I want. I think I'll make the shifter tower now next. I'll beautify that up, weld it in there.
I was just going to say I could do with strengthening and all.
Yeah, well.
Something thin there, innit? Now that.
Once it's welded round here, though.
Good bashes, and it's coming off.
Nah, it's not coming off that. Have faith. Right, design a tower up, get some cardboard. This thing's never gonna move, because that just needs to, this needs to bend back, it just needs to roll back, where it will do, because it's a bush, ain't it? Never needs to actually move, so.
Would it be better mounting it at front? Because you've got your strength there, ain't you?
I'm gonna re-drill all these anyway, and this is gonna be strong, there's gonna be no worries about strength. I'll not weld this in till last, because then I can set the height where it needs to be. And obviously there's a bend in bottom of it, so I can find out which way works best with that bend pointing back or pointing forward. All we need to do is get that bush mounted there in the middle, so it just basically wants to be a triangle. What comes up, it's gonna have to have a little bend in it with an hole in it, same that side, then just plate front up. That is it. It's dead easy, really. Top, maybe a bit of strength in it to allow that to. Well, no, it's because it's never gonna, is it? It's never gonna. It's not gonna have a slit, because once that's bolted in position, the only thing what's moving is the bush is twisting. The bit what we're gonna fold off, chopped off. Well, anyway, you kind of get the gist. It's gonna have a like a fold there. What's gonna bolt into my bolt holes. That top bit there may need a little. Where's my shifter? There we go. Look, it's making sense already, innit? Look. Now just basically 2 of them and then fill in the blanks, innit?
Yeah, you need to make them first.
Need to make 2 of them with folded bottom, then I can figure out how big this gap's going to be. Yeah, I think probably make them first, yeah. With folded bottom on. So are you ready to see the masterpiece? I've set out today that I wanted a working shifter by the end of the day, and I do have a working shifter. Now there's going to be some footage of this what I've cut out, so I can't remember exactly what I've filmed, but there's been some fails today. So the fails I won't be showing, not because I'm ashamed of them, it's just I don't want the video to be long as hell. So I'm just going to show you the working solution, and I'll explain why I failed earlier. So let me show you what I come to. So inside, old Mayo's sat up there, he's in the seat. The shifter is a work of art inside, I will show you that, the finished article anyway. You see me designing it earlier and cutting it and whatever. But here is the mechanism without me actually showing it moving. You see we've got a couple of rose joints onto the original Hayabusa pivot arm, and then this is the original Nissan Micra gear bar, just has been chopped and welded into whichever orientation I wanted it to go for it to work. And it does work. Now before I'm just going to get May to give you a demonstration, let me explain why I failed. So on a normal bike, you imagine there's a gear shifter here, comes onto the spline, then you've got the bit where your toes go underneath. Usually it'll be 1 down, and then it'll be 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, up the gears. On an Hayabusa, it doesn't work like that. On the original setup, it works with the shifter pivoted back with a mechanism with a rod. Everything's backwards. So why did I fail? I failed because I made it on the basis that I thought lifting it up would send it into 2nd gear, which in reality didn't. Basically what I'm trying to say is with the gear selector inside, I wanted back to be up the gears. So I wanted it to be first forward, then 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, so on. Backwards, that's just how it is, that's how my Westfield is. And where the first revision I had, it was backwards. So it would have been up the gearbox, it would have been first back and then 2nd, 3rd, 4th, forwards and whatever else. Didn't want that, didn't like it, so we ended up having a bit of a redesign, and yeah, this is what we came up with. And it does work. If May goes through the gears for you, inside, go on May. Which one's that? Which way you go in there? Still spins me out, so yep, so that's in 2nd gear. Go on then, upper gear again, 3rd gear, 4th gear, 5th gear, and 6th gear. Right, come back down gearbox. There we go, 5th gear, 4th gear, that should be 3rd gear, 2nd gear, and that is neutral. Tell me that's not a work of art, boys. What a work, but let me show you the best bit. The best bit is inside. Absolutely sick. I'm in love with it. Need to let May down anyway, so let the car down and I shall show you. Yeah, all engraved with my logo with the laser machine. Again, X-Tool killing it. That X-Tool machine, I don't know what I would have done without it. It's just been running constantly throughout this entire build, just constantly cutting new bits, bobs, brackets and stuff. Without that, this would have took me way longer. So yeah, there is going to be a dedicated video series on the X-Tool anyway, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be seeing the X-Tool in action on a lot of my jobs, so this being one of them. Don't mind me, it sounds like opening my wallet lately. Right, let me show you the actual shifter inside. What a beauty. Look at that. Engraved with no fabs, it's engraved on top as well. It's engraved on the back side. The lighting's not the best in here. Very simple, yet very effective. This is the original Micra shift knob. Did what I said I was going to do with that. I put the little pivot point on it, and yeah. Now, the gear knob doesn't go left and right anymore because of the pivot point. It will only go forwards or backwards. So forwards is down the gearbox, backwards is up the gearbox. So when we're driving, it's going to be rap, bap, bap. You get the drift. You know what I mean? So there we go, we have a working shifter, maybe slightly overcomplicated, but we'll see how it goes. Once it's running, we'll see if any problems arise. Also cut out an ignition barrel mounting point. This is just crude, simple. That's where I'm going to have the ignition barrel mounted up. The original Micra throttle cable is now linked up to the throttle bodies. That works a dream on the pedal. I've also done the choke cable, and I've made this bracket, which I'm not quite happy with. I'm going to do a slight revision on this so it screws to the dash, because I didn't really take into account it fitting in the hole as tightly as it needed to, and it doesn't, it's loose. So I'm going to make another revision of this, and I will make one that screws into the dash, but minor problem. Anyway, let's build an exhaust system. So here we can see I have already altered the manifolds slightly. I've cut them off where they used to go. I've linked them from the splits back into a 2-to-1, into a 2.5 inch. Got the lander sensor boss in there. This is all stainless steel, by the way. So I didn't want to do it all in stainless because it's a lot heavier than what titanium is. But from this point onwards there, from the end of that, it is going to be titanium. Now we're going to come all the way down there. We might, oops, just bang my head. We might have a bit of a change here where the shield was, because now the fuel tank's no longer there. I've got a ton of space to come through here. So I might just sack this shield off and just come across here. And we are doing a jap can. Do love a jap can. So that's what I'm doing. It's having a titanium jap can. Might burn end at pipe, might keep it stealth. Unsure at the moment. I don't know. You can see better what I mean now. Look, that the exhaust used to go round there and then round there because it was going round tank. Well, now I might just take the path of least resistance and just come straight across. So we'll figure it out as we're going. We'll figure it. Right, I'm gonna get some gear out, and we're gonna make a start. Looking like a cholo with out over my eyes. Anyway, there we have a titanium exhaust silencer. Anyway, burnt the end of it, sort of burnt around where I put my tag. Looks pretty cool. That is now the silencer. We need to get that onto this. The weight of this is insane. Like, there's nothing there. It feels like there's nothing in it. It feels empty. Need to get that offered up to the car now, and we'll start making the rest. there we have a full titanium exhaust for the Micra. It is incredible how light titanium is. Like, that is half the weight of stainless. The whole thing is just stupid light. People ask me sometimes, what does it weld like, titanium? It's very similar to stainless. It's just a little bit sticky, a little bit goopy. That's the way I can describe it. Very crucial that you purge it. It has to be purged, so everything's been purged. And you'll notice that I haven't used any pie cuts. I've used actual proper bends just for simplicity, for speed, and I just wanted the clean look. I couldn't be bothered. It's not a showpiece. I'm not interested in people looking underneath it. The reason I've done it in titanium is because I want the thing light. Right, so exhaust done, looking sick. Next little thing, kind of irrelevant at the minute, still don't run, but I want to get them in nonetheless. I'm still waiting for a part, so at the minute I'm a bit dead in water with everything else, so I'm trying to get other things done. I did buy some bucket seats for this car upstairs, some very nice suede bucket seats. I'll probably put a picture on the screen. Problem is, I felt them and they're a little bit heavy for what I want. I want this car to be stupid light. So managed to find these on the old Facebook marketplace. Some seats from a Westfield. Now, they're not in the best of condition. They're all right. They're not fantastic. They're a little bit ropey actually, but they're light. That's the main thing. They're really, really light, which is what I need. And I have got one fitted in. So I've not filmed the process, but I'm going to show you how I did it. So come around here and let's have a little look what I've got. Come around that side, Connor. So you can see Micras run really weird seat bases. They're not flat like a lot of cars where they bolt flat to the floor. They're not like that on Micras. They sort of, everything's folded at different angles and stuff. So this one is in there, and it's in there really good, really nice and solid. Now, contrary to what you might think, I am not a computer wizard, and this wasn't done with some fancy 3D scanning and design work. I'll show you exactly how I made that seat base. And it took a few revisions, but I'll show you exactly how I made it. So yep, I'm not joking. When I say cardboard aided design, that is the first revision of that seat. I actually made it out of cardboard and got it somewhat like roughly what I wanted. That was my first revision. And then I did a test cut in some mild steel. It's bent to death because I actually rested seat on this and I was sat on it and stuff. But there we go, I just cut one out of some thin mild steel just to test my drawing fitment. And I tell you what, first go, I pretty much got it absolutely bang on by. One of my holes being off ever so slightly, pretty much got it absolutely bang on. And then, well, the third and final revision was the actual one, made out of stainless steel. I haven't folded this one yet, as you can see. I need to fold it in a second, but that is the second revision. Now on this one I actually put a little funny thing on there. You are brave, because you will be very brave to get in passenger seat of this. There was one that was a cock-up though, which I will show you. Here's one that was a colossal waste of money, which I actually wanted this to be the main one. This is made out of 6mm aluminium, which is what I intended to build bases out of, just because it's strong and it's light. But I quickly found out as I went to fold it, it split it. Literally, instantly, it split it. Now, I even did try annealing it, warming it up and whatever. No. So, it came, with equipment I've got, I could not bend 6mm aluminium. Now, you're probably thinking, what equipment have you got, Nathan, to bend these? A vise and a hammer. And you think I'm joking? I've left that other one on purpose because I'm going to show you exactly how I folded that one. Literally folded it with the vise and a hammer, and it fit 20 stone. Don't talk nonsense about 20 stone. Yeah, or 20 stone. 13.7 I'll have you know. Anyway, let's fold this one and let's get this one bolted in. Then we can get the other seat bolted in. And yeah, then that's another thing off my list. You thought I was joking, didn't you? You thought I was going to pull out some fancy folder. Nope. I'm going to get an hammer. This is exactly how I did the other one, and it fits like a glove. I'm just guessing bend angles. Yeah, about there. This one. So in my drawing I did put little, come around here, you'll see, look, I did put little notches, so I knew where to bend them, just not by how much. So I'm not completely in dark. Okay. told you it were crude. I told you. Gets job done. Bit of a fault in that bit. And this is the worst one. Right, so to make sure I get my head around this right way. 90 degrees that way, then other way. This one was the hard one, because I've now got to bend it opposite way. Again, you're going to laugh at my technique, I think, but... That one's not easy. It weren't easy on the other one. Nice. There we go. It might want a little bit of a tweak, but there is how I folded the driver's one, and that's exactly how I fold the passenger one. So let's get it bolted in. So last little finishing touch is put the dimples in it, which is done with this little tool, which is called a dimple die, for those of you that didn't know. Not that way around, because it doesn't fit. You just simply use a bench press. Oh, bloody hell. And that gives you that look. Now, it's not just for aesthetics, although it does look pretty cool. It gives you that like rally spec look. It also adds a lot of strength to a flat plate like that. A flat plate without that in can become very boingy. Just simply pressing these ridges in makes the plate a hell of a lot more rigid. So I'm not going to bore you to death with all of them. As you can see, I've got quite a few of them to do. I'm going to get them done and we'll get it bolted in. Bada boom! Told you I weren't joking. You know what? That can actually fit better than the other side. That's funny. Right, now I need to put some studs in the bottom of the seat, and you can see on that side I'd machined some little aluminium spacers up just because these seats, they lean back so much like a cholo. I mean, that's already still leant back, but it was just going to be a pain to try and make the base lean upwards. So I thought, you know what, I'll just space back up with some little aluminium spacers. Be right, we're going to die if we crash this either way, aren't we? Whether the spacers there or not, we're going to die. So yeah, I'm going to make some of them spacers. I'm going to mount that seat in, and that'll be both of them in. Ta-da! 2 seats mounted. Now, at the moment I don't have any seat belts. I'm going to take the main seat belts out. I'm going to make some sort of harness bar what goes from strut towers at the back, and I'm going to have harnesses what come through these holes across there. That is yet to be done. Not so worried about that for the moment. So, next up. It's going to be... Put my hat straight to start with. It's going to be... fuel system or wiring. I don't know. We're going to decide it next day or so, because I'm going to be doing a bit of work on this tomorrow. Need to finish bonnet pins, need to do fuel system, need to do wiring. That's about it. That is about it, and she's about ready to turn key. Wiring's the seat belts, they're minor though, I can just add them in. We don't need safety. Well, I'm not going to drive it without seat belts, obviously, but what I mean is I can add them in. I'd sooner hear the thing run first, and then I'll worry about seat belts. So, bonnet pins, fuel system, wiring, seat belts. That's me. 4 things to do. So let's decide what we're doing next. Right, I've decided we're going to do this fuel tank now. We've put some Jubilees on some coolant hose and stuff, but I've took fuel tank out. Look, I'll show you. Fuel tank's out the back and it's over here because finally my fuel pump flange came. So let me show you what the fuel pump flange looks like. The aluminium thing there, this is the original Hayabusa fuel pump that used to mount into the bottom of the tank. And I've been waiting ages for this flange and I should have just made my own. It's not even that good of a fit either, as you can see. Can't get it out with one hand, but essentially there's an O-ring in there, look, which is machined into that flange. The O-ring goes in there like that, and then that needs welding into that tank. And then the original fuel pump will go into there. Now I've got to get it in right orientation because obviously that has to swing and float on top of your fuel. So tank's only being small, I need to make sure I get it in right orientation so that can go up and down without getting hindered. Benefit of using this, as I'm using the Hayabusa clocks, this will render me a working fuel gauge because essentially it's going to be mounted upside down like that. When that gets to the bottom, you're on empty, so it won't lie, it will tell truth, which is why I'm going to use it. This is not flat bottomed, which a bit of a pain in the ass. Hopefully it's not going to cause a problem. With this being so thick, I'm going to kind of like mount the flange on piss on purpose. I'm going to like put it in there as much on piss as I can just to help with that not being flat. But yeah, we'll see how we go. I'm going to firstly see if I've got an hole saw big enough to drill an hole in it, and then see what happens. And would you look at that? I have a 4-inch hole saw. I've had this thing for years, used it for drilling bumpers, and I think this is the longest standing hole saw that I've ever had and not killed, because it usually only drills plastic. Today it's going to drill aluminium, hopefully I don't kill it. But that, you couldn't write it, is absolutely perfect on 4-inch. Now, if I wasn't going to try and do what I said about tilting it in tank, I'd have just drilled the smaller hole in the middle. But I'm going to try and tilt this into tank. You probably don't know what I'm on about, but once I've drilled it all, I'll be able to show you what I'm on about and try and... It's still not going to sit straight, but it's going to sit straight. So, let's drill an hole in it. Welded absolutely lovely, that did. She'll do me. Right, we're going to cool that down because that's as hot as sun, and then we'll see what we need to do with this fuel pump rod, see if we need to bend it, faff it, or whatever, I don't know. We're going to have to do something. I may as well do it now and then put it in once and forget about it. So cool that down and see what we've got to do. Here we go. Seal in. We've modified that, get it a little bend, and that now works perfect. So put that in and job done. And off camera we got that piped up and we got that fitted back in. Now the next part, I'm really not looking forward to this part. Can you guess what it is? Yep, it's time to do the wiring. This is the bit that I'm really not looking forward to. This is the bit what's going to blow my mind. But we've got to do it, so let's see what we can get done. So the aim of the game here is we need to make the bike loom work in the car. That means we need to remove a lot of stuff what we have no use for anymore. For instance, we do not need the indicators, we don't need the headlights, tail lights, that sort of thing. So I'm going to strip open the loom, and the aim here is to simplify everything, remove everything what I don't want, keep what I do want. And I'm going to need to extend some bits as well. For instance, I'm going to need to extend the clock loom, I'm going to need to extend the ignition loom and the fuel pump. Right, so a long few hours later, at the moment it still looks a massive mess, but we might have made some progress. All this pile here is all the stuff what I don't want out of this loom, or everything that I think I don't want out of this loom. So lights, indicators, a few vacuum bits and bobs, and just general crap what I don't need. Here is what I've got Obviously it's not taped up at the moment because I need to offer it up to the car, figure out where things need to go. But I have extended a few things. I've extended the starter switch. So what would originally have been the push button on the bike is going to be a push button in the car. So I've extended that roughly. Hopefully that reaches. One thing that I wasn't too sure about, which my old mate DJ told me about, he said just be wary about bypassing clutch switch. So if you're familiar with a superbike won't start unless you pull clutch in. The way it knows that the clutch is in is just by a simple 2-pin breaker switch. What DJ told me is he said if you bridge them together, it might run funny because it'll think clutch is in all the time. Whether or not that's the case or not, I don't know on this. So I have just put a little button on there which I'm going to mount on dash, which is only for starting. So simply when I want to start this car, I'll have to press that button and then press the start button. So that's going to mimic the clutch switch. It's going to think I'm pushing the clutch in, then that should be the start button. So I've got boost pack on, and we're going to give it a test together to see what actually works and what doesn't work. So we've got ignition, still need to extend clocks, still need to extend ignition barrel. But for a minute, just want to test what I've got. Now, we've got a fuel injection light on. That's because we've got no coil packs plugged in, no injectors plugged in. We've got various bits and bobs unplugged. So this is the start switch. So at the moment, if I touch them two wires together, nothing should happen until I press that switch. So, nope, nothing happens. If I'm correct, when I press this button and touch them wires together, that starter solenoid over there should click. So I'm going to press that, clutch in. You hear it? So my starter circuit works, buzzing. We're happy with that. So we know it's going to crank. When I've put all this in the car, I know it's going to at least crank. It's going to make an attempt to start. One thing at the moment I'm not too sure about, I don't know whether to keep the original fan wiring and just piggyback mine off it so it does work off at thermal switch, or just have it on a permanent switch. I'm in two minds at the minute. I'm kind of swaying towards just having it on permanent switch, what I've got. Just get rid of a bit more wiring, simplify this a little bit more. Realistically then, every one of these plugs is accounted for. I know what they all go to. All I need to do is extend clocks, extend ignition, have an offer up to the car, see what runs where it needs to run, just make sure my lengths are all good now. I don't need to make anything longer. And then probably, I need to do fuel pump as well. Fuel pump needs extending a long way, all the way to the back of the car. And then before I tape all loom up, I will probably try and start it. If it starts, I know if it's good and I can tape loom up. Don't want to tape it all up to find something that's wrong and then have to take it all back to bits again. This is not my forte, folks. I don't like doing wiring. It takes a long time. It's not difficult. I think we'll be all right. So, I'm probably going to skip this next bit. I'm going to extend this ignition barrel. I'm going to extend the fuel pump. I'm going to extend the clocks. And yeah, I'll probably show you, probably come back to you then when we've had an offer up print car and we're going to go for a first start, I think. Well, today's a big moment. I've done all my extensions of my loom. The clock loom's extended, ignition barrel's extended, fuel pump's extended. I've extended the start wires. We're going to go to my start button. I've extended the clutch switch. What I'm going to have to adjust a little button on inside. Everything there now is ready for a dry run. So I am going to toss it in the car. I'm not going to run it all neatly foot second because obviously, as you can see, I have not taped all of it up because I'm not 1,000,000% confident. I'm probably 75% confident everything's good. So I want to hear the thing run before I tape the loom up. Once I've heard it run, I'll tape the thing up and we'll get it in there routed nicely. So I am just going to run the fuel pump one outside at car for a minute. I'm going to run all these other ones just loosely over engine bay, plug in what I need to plug in. Yeah, I'm going to see if the thing runs. I'm excited and nervous. It's been a graft.
We don't tip it all out, do we?
We don't need funnel, do we? Should be enough for a test run. Do we a rag car? I've spilt it everywhere. So, a little bit of a pre-warning. If this does start, which is a big if, We're not going to be able to run it for long because there's no coolant in it, and I've not got a few things done. So main point of this is I just want to make sure the thing fires before I piss about taping all this loom up. Make sure it's something like, if it fires, I'm going to be ecstatic. Then I can tape loom up, then I can put it right. Also, another thing to mention, if it does start, it's going to sound like a wet fart because there's some bits at the bottom of headers what are not welded up yet, so it's going to sound like exhaust blowing like mad. It's because it is. Shall we see what happens? I'm nervous. I'm right nervous.
No, on top of them things what are getting sucked in, is it?
No.
Let's go. Press your button.
I'm scared. Right scared.
Golly, come on, we've rolled it back, haven't we?
Yep. That's my clutch switch. When I touch these two wires together, it should crank. I think battery's dead. Yeah. Can you come and do this, Carl? I can't hold wires together nicely and press that button.
I'll do that.
Hang on, I'll just hold them together and then press button.
No power left in that.
We've got a... Probably not a great earth, is it? It's not... It's not... I can hear a pump going.
Yeah, pump it. Will it take a minute to pull fuel through though?
No, no, well, it will do, yeah, but... That boost pack's not got enough to spin it, innit? Right, so do we need to get an actual battery? It's not got enough. Should we pause it there and we'll come back a sec? Let's just sort this power situation out. Right, we've got boost pack on.
Need to flip your key again.
Yeah, it'd help, wouldn't it? No, there is no... It said FA on there. Sorry, FI, fuel injection, when I had everything unplugged when I was bench testing it, but... Come on, Babby. Choke. Choke. It never liked starting without choke, did it?
It's either choke or
it's choke.
Fuel, innit?
I need one to hold me that. It's choke. Someone hold me that top one. Hold me that. No, it's not going to be no fingers, is there? It never likes starting without choke, even when it rent bike. Hold it on when it does start. Come on.
Yeah, it's fine, it's so...
No, it's... Right, after we've had 17 parcel deliveries, everyone keeps ruining my big moment. Let's see if it'll go.
I'm getting
That's dying now. Bit of throttle. That's acting twat again, that's why. Ready with a bit of throttle, yeah?
Yeah, go on.
It's no fuel. It's not looking good, is it? It's not looking good. It did fire once though. I can't think of what else that I've not got plugged in. Fuel pump's buzzing. Ignition works. I don't think there is else stopping it. Tilt sensors on right way.
I've got thingy open then, and I would dip in throttle.
That's acting twat again. Boost back. Oops. No.
Yeah, it's dying.
That's dying. This is acting twat.
Portable one. Do you not think that'd do it?
Don't do continuous cranking. That hates continuous cranking.
Mate, fuck that big enough. Then you'll have to have this.
That's not got enough in it either, has it? Double her up. It's because we've not got a battery. Oh! Yes! She runs! She runs! F***ing yes! I'll bleep that. Woo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, baby! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Right, I can't run it for long because we've got no coolant in it. What does the exhaust sound like? I'm nursing a semi right now. I am nursing a semi. Right, boys, we're gonna have to kill it. We're gonna have to kill it. We can't run it long. There's no coolant in it. Get in there.
That will sound disgusting on 40. That will sound bad, boy.
As you might be able to tell, I'm pretty happy right now. Right. The Micrabusa is alive.
Missed it on fucking video.
Yeah.
Missed it.
Right, for the video purposes, this is going to be the end of part 2. I promised you it'd run, and it now runs. So we're going to wrap part 2 up here. And if you're really still interested in this build, join me in part 3, where I'm going to finish this loom. I'm going to finish all the other little bits, and we're going to see how daft a Micrabusa is actually on the road. Because by the time episode 3 comes, we will be ripping this. So we're going to see you in episode 3.